Good morning everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Unfog with Dr. Atahar Parveen. Friends, this is the day one of the physics most expected concepts and multiple choice questions as we promised you all. So we are going to discuss 5 important questions today, and then we will also give you 5 important questions as a assignment. You have to solve those questions and you can give the answers in the comment section or in the Telegram channel also. And these classes are specially made for serious aspirants. So if you are an aspirant who is following us right from the beginning, and if you have joined our paid classes, then this class is specially made for you. And this class is going to help all aspirants who are preparing for teacher recruitment exams like HSTR, of course, most importantly CRICE also, and GPSTR, TET aspirants also will get benefit from these classes, because we are going to discuss all variety of problems, right from easy problems to the toughest problems. Okay, so if you are a aspirant who really want to prepare seriously, then you can keep one notes for these classes, and you can note down all the questions which we will be solving in the class, and you can also note down all the questions which we will be giving as a assignment to you all. Okay, so let us start with the first question. One Fermi is equivalent to. So what is this Fermi? This is actually used to measure the size of a atomic nuclei. Such a smaller unit this is. Not only Fermi, we have many more such units in physics, like we have angstrom, we have nanometer, we have picometer, we have micrometer also, right? So Fermi is actually the measuring size of a atomic nuclei, and it is so small that it is equal to 10 to the minus 15 meter. So option 1 will be the correct answer here. Remember, Fermi is 10 to the minus 15 meter. So among the list which we have given here to you, the Fermi is the smallest unit, you can say. Like that only we have angstrom. How do you relate it with meter? 10 to the minus 10 meter. Nanometer, 10 to the minus 9 meter. Again, 1 nanometer is related to angstrom also, right? How is it related to angstrom? It is 10 angstrom, right? What is picometer? 10 to the minus 12 meter. Like that only, what is micrometer? It is 10 to the minus 6 meter. Or I can relate 1 micrometer to nanometer by writing 1000 nanometers. It is nothing but 10 to the 3 nanometer. Because I can write 10 to the 3 into 10 to the minus 9 meter, right? Nano means 10 to the minus 9, right? So it is nothing but 10 to the minus 6 meter, right? It is nothing but 1 micrometer, right? So in this manner, you should be knowing all the units and their values related to meter, because meter is the standard unit we have, right? Rest all units are smaller than the meter which we are talking about here. Next, question number 2. The dimension of momentum. So they are giving 4 options: impulse, power, stress and pressure. See, what is momentum actually? Momentum is P, right, which is equal to mass into velocity, right? But then what is impulse? If you see from the options, option A is impulse, right? What is impulse? Impulse is actually nothing but change in momentum. Then what will be the dimensions for these two physical quantities? It should be same dimensions, right? Because impulse is change in momentum. So that's why the dimension should be similar, right? But if you see other 3 options, first one is power. Power is actually work by time, right? Like that only, what is the stress? Stress is nothing but force upon area, right? But force upon area is also the definition for pressure, right? So the units for stress and pressure should be similar, right? But they are nowhere related to velocity or momentum, right? So that's why option B, C and D. They cannot have dimension of momentum. Only option A, impulse, because it is equal to change in momentum, the dimension will be same as a momentum. So dimensions are same for impulse and momentum. So remember this term impulse. This impulse is the center point to today's class. Okay, so here one more point we came to know that stress and power will have same units, because stress is also telling about how much force is acting on unit area. Pressure is also telling about how much force is acted upon area, right? So there can be another question wherein they will ask you which of the two quantities have same units, or what is the unit of pressure they can say, or what is the unit of stress they can say, or they can ask you what is the dimension of pressure or stress, or they can also ask you which is the physical quantity which is having same dimension as stress, and in option you may have pressure. Okay, you get my point, right? Next, question number 3. Weber per meter square is equal to, so this is somewhere related to magnetism, right? If you see Weber means magnetism should come in your mind. Okay, so actually Weber means it is a unit for total magnetic field or magnetic flux. Talking about magnetic flux density, because here they are telling Weber upon meter square, that is there in the question. So they are talking about magnetic flux upon area. Now what is this magnetic flux upon area? It is actually called as magnetic flux density. Okay, there is a one typical word for this Weber per meter square. We call it as Tesla. Okay, remember Tesla is Weber per meter square. So option B will be the correct answer here. What about other three options? Dyne, it is related to force. Of course, magnetic field is related to Tesla, just now we have discussed. What about Watt? It is related to work done. What about Henry? It is the unit of inductance. It is related to a coil or a inductor. Okay, of course Weber, it is a unit of a magnetic field, but in the question they asked Weber per meter square, so that's why we derived it using the formula magnetic flux upon area. We got the hint with Weber means magnetic flux, area means meter square. Okay, clear, right? So even if you don't know the answer, you can derive it like this with the knowledge you have. Next, question number 4. The dimension of impulse is equal to that of. See, again impulse came into picture. That's why I told you to remember this word impulse. So in question number 2, we saw that impulse is having the same dimension as momentum. We came to know that impulse is nothing but change in momentum. But do you know that impulse is having another definition? That definition is impulse is equal to force into time. That we will talk later. First we will talk about the dimension of impulse, which is equal to what? We have discussed in question number 2 that it is nothing but change in momentum, right? But if you see the options in question number 4, we can exclude option A and C with our knowledge in solving question number 2. But here we have 2 other options which are having momentum in the answer. So some aspirants get confused with this also. So the other 2 options which can be correct are linear momentum and angular momentum. Now the dimension of impulse is equal to that of any one should be the correct answer here, right? Linear or angular momentum. We know that momentum is the correct answer here. But which one to choose from option B and D? So here you should be knowing the difference between linear momentum and angular momentum. So linear momentum is when we talk about the motion in a straight line. So this linear momentum depends on mass and velocity. Okay, but when we talk about angular momentum, here the motion of a particle depends upon mass, velocity and distance from the axis, because here we do not talk about straight line, we talk about a circular or rotational path. So here we will have angular momentum that will come into picture only when the body is in motion in circular or rotational path. So here what are the quantities on which the angular momentum depends? It is mass, velocity and distance from the axis of rotation. Okay, so like this, whatever distance will be there, that will be your r. Okay, so now what all came into your mind? We were talking about impulse which is having change in momentum, right? So that change in momentum was depending upon only mass and velocity. So our impulse should be depending upon linear momentum. Option B will be the correct answer rather than option D, because we are talking about the straight line here. Okay, we are not at all talking about the circular motion. Here one more interesting point I want to tell you. This angular momentum is there, no? This angular momentum is equal to distance into linear momentum. Because see, you have linear momentum, mass into velocity. Here you have distance also in the picture, right? So angular momentum is equal to linear momentum into again distance, like this. Okay, so you have to remember that impulse is directly related to linear momentum but not angular momentum. Now in fourth question only they are telling that dimension of impulse is equal to that of what, and we found that it is linear momentum. But then what is the dimension of impulse? That is there in our question number 5. What is the dimension of impulse? You have to find out, right? See, we came to know that impulse is nothing but change in momentum, right? That we now understood. But do you know that there is another definition for impulse? What is that definition? Means it is related to force and time. Force into time is impulse. I can also derive and show you why it is. Means, see, we have force is equal to mass into acceleration, right? But then we also have acceleration is equal to change in velocity upon time, right? If I substitute this velocity in this formula of force, we have F is equal to m into change in velocity upon time, right? Or I can send time in the left hand side, I will have m into change in velocity, right? But then what is m delta v or m into v? It is nothing but our momentum, right? So momentum is force into time. But now we also know that impulse is having same dimension as momentum, right? So I can say that impulse is equal to force into time. Now I have to find out the dimensional formula. So what I do? First I write for force, then I write for time, the dimensional formula. For force it will be m L t to the minus 2 and time is t. Now don't ask me, ma'am, how did you get this? So if you are a serious aspirant, then you will have attended our classes from units and dimensions, especially the paid class aspirants. If you have watched the classes of units and dimensions, then you will be knowing how to find out the dimensional formula right from the basic quantities, right? So now I assume that you know how to derive the dimensional formula for force. If you don't know, please learn and let me know whether you are able to do it or no in the comment section. Of course, I will give you assignment problems also. With that also you can learn. Okay. So now for force you have mlt to the minus 2 and time is t. So basically for impulse our dimensional formula will become mlt to the minus 1. So option C will be the correct answer here. Okay. So for those aspirants who are finding it difficult, I will give you hint to find out the dimensional formula for force. Your force is equal to mass into acceleration, right? Again, you have mass into what is acceleration? Velocity upon time, right? Mass into again 1 upon time into what is velocity again? Distance upon time, right? So these are the fundamental quantities now I have derived. For fundamental quantities, it is easy for you to write the dimensions, right? So substitute the dimensions and then calculate it, you will get it for force. Okay, clear, right? So this is the normal procedure to derive the dimensional quantities, the dimensional formulae from the fundamental quantities. Okay. So these are the 5 important questions which we wanted to discuss here. Friends, I want to make one more point clear that we are not going to discuss the concepts because these are multiple choice questions series. Of course, we will discuss the concepts behind the multiple choice questions, but we will not discuss the concepts again because we have already completed the syllabus for all our paid classes now. So we will be taking more classes based on concepts only after the notification and if there is some new topic added in the syllabus. Okay. So till then it is better for you all to learn from multiple choice questions. Okay. So now let us come to today's assignment. These are the 5 questions. For your assignment, you have to solve these questions and you can give answers in the comment section if you are watching our free classes, or if you are a paid class aspirant, then you can give your answers in your batches telegram groups. There we can discuss if you have any doubt also. Okay. So see these questions. First question is which of the following is SI unit of electric potential difference? Then which of the following has same dimensions as work? Which of the following is the SI unit of capacitance? Then I am giving you 2 questions based on dimensional formula. You have to find out for acceleration and pressure. Okay friends. So I really hope that you like this class. You can give your feedbacks in the comment section or you can join our telegram group. You can ask your doubts there also. Thank you. All the best. Bye.